We begin with a story that's continuing to make headlines around the world, but at this point is hardly a blip on the media's radar screen here in the United States. While the mainstream media has lined its shows with the wall-to-wall coverage of President Trump and the threat of impeachment, there are massive protests breaking out worldwide that have, in many areas, turned deadly.
Global protests erupt over various triggers, but all appear to be spawned from one common issue: worsening economic conditions in their respective countries. Protests in Chile, Bolivia, Ecuador, France with their nearly year-long Yellow Vest protests, Hong Kong, folks in the UK angry with Brexit for fears of how this is going to impact their wallets, Lebanon, Iraq, the list goes on.
Our world is suffering from a bad case of trust deficit disorder. People are feeling troubled and insecure, and trust is at a breaking point. Trust in national institutions, trust among states, trust in the rules-based global order. Within countries, people are losing faith in political establishments. Polarization is on the rise, and populism is on the march. Among countries, cooperation is less certain and more difficult, and divisions in our Security Council are stark. Today, world order is increasingly chaotic, power relations are less clear, and universal values are being eroded, democratic principles are under siege, and rule of law is being undermined.
They are creators of a new world order, of a new world, and it seems to me that they are taking genesis of the Old Testament literally, which is that before you create a new world, you need to have chaos, and out of chaos a new order emerges, and then everything will be fine. But first, for that to happen, you need to have bloodshed, chaos, confusion, mayhem, etc. And as Plato once said in the Republic, once certain people get a taste of blood, something strange, demonic happens to them, and they are lost to humanity.
What we're seeing is not happening because they've raised the metro price by 30 pesos. What's happening has been going on for 30 years. We have the issue of pensions, queues in clinics, waiting lists for hospitals, low salaries.
We Chileans want the president to be honest and understand that this social uprising has come about solely as a result of his dire policies against his own nation.
كرمال واتساب، نحن نازلين كرمال كل شيء، كرمال المنزل، كرمال الأكل، كرمال الخبز، كرمال كل شيء.
Nous pas besoin de Jovenel encore dans notre pays parce que Jovenel fait trop grave administratif. Jovenel a un problème pour 50 ans encore dans le pays. On a demandé de pas Jovenel sans condition.
Años en este proceso independentista estamos hartos. Solo recibimos represión por parte de España. Queremos plantar cara ya. Sí, vamos a salir heridos, pero aquí nuestros huevos, ¿sabes? Ya estamos muy cansados.
Nos coge a nosotros, a los pobres, directamente meternos la mano en el bolsillo y subiendo la gasolina y el diésel. Necesitamos trabajar y nos duele. A los ricos perdonan y a los pobres nos sacan. Por esa razón estamos nosotros aquí, para defender lo nuestro. Nada más.
Today, the signs of the times declare that we are standing on the threshold of great and solemn events. Everything in our world is in agitation. Before our eyes is fulfilling the Savior's prophecy of the events to precede his coming. Angels are now restraining the winds of strife that may not blow until the world shall be warned of its coming doom. But a storm is gathering, ready to burst upon the earth. And when God shall bid his angels loose the winds, there will be such a scene of strife as no pen can picture. The Savior's prophecy concerning the visitation of judgments upon Jerusalem is to have another fulfillment, of which that terrible desolation was but a faint shadow. In the fate of the chosen city, we may behold the doom of a world that has rejected God's mercy and trampled upon his law. Satan will then plunge the inhabitants of the earth into one great final trouble. As the angels of God cease to hold in check the fierce winds of human passion, all the elements of strife will be let loose. The world will be involved in a ruin more terrible than that which came upon Jerusalem of old.